Hello everyone and welcome to my 4,000 subscriber Q&A special. Once again, thank you all for helping us reach this goal. It literally wouldn't be possible without you. It was pretty much around this exact time last year that I did my 1,000 subscriber Q&A special. Well, shit, the channel is 4 times the size now as it was back then, so guess that means we've been doing something right. Um, yeah, before we get into the video, I just have to make a special mention for the Patreon, or people interested in joining the Patreon, since solo leveling apparently just ended today. Pretty soon I'm going to be replacing solo leveling reviews with One Piece reviews, so if you're interested in those, maybe check out the Patreon. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. The questions I'll be answering today were taken from 3 places, the first of which was the questions channel on the Discord, the next of which was the announcement community post celebrating our, achievement of reaching our subscriber goal, and the third is from an announcement video that I put up the other day, and then unlisted so that I wouldn't be getting any more questions after having done this video. So we'll be starting off with the questions from the Discord, because we got the least of them from here. So we start off with a question from Neve asking who my favorite bozo is. I think it would have to be Solo, because I feel like Solo is probably the least malicious out of the bozos. I don't think the problems wrong with him stem from a character flaw like they do with Shugen or Balder. I think the issue with Solo is the guy's just fucking crazy. The guy really needs some kind of prescription. And then he would probably be a lot more okay than he is. But the Solo incident, like his whole thing on the server, was so absurd, so over the top, and just so fucking entertaining to look back on because of that, I mean, he's the bozo. Whenever anyone thinks of the bozos, they think of Solo. So how could he not be my favorite? Next one's from Brown Dio, and he asked, if you could choose one anime or manga fighting style for yourself, what would it be? I can't think of a specific one, like a specific fighting style. I guess, because my general answer is like, the anime sword fighting, the whole ching, and then everyone's been cut into a million pieces. So I guess the most prominent modern example of that would be like Atomic Samurai. So probably something like Atomic Samurai's fighting style. Now Bernice comes in and asks an opposing question to Neves, who's my least favorite bozo, and I would have to say Sneeze, because we just kind of put Sneeze in there to fill out the numbers to 5. Him and Theo were just kind of there to fill it out. They're fodder bozos, basically. But unlike Theo, who did something as stupid and hilarious as deciding to draw the N-word in a party game and then go into the comments of a Black Clover review to say, oh, I'm sorry, I was just doing a little bit of trolling, please let me back in, I won't do it again. Sneeze was just really fucking annoying. Like, that was it. He was just kind of an abnormally annoying little fuck. And that was why we banned him. So he's definitely my least favorite. Next question is from Danny, who asks if you could remaster any game, what would it be? I would either want to do a true remaster of Dark Souls 1, not like the borderline port with barely noticeable graphical improvements that it got. I would want something more along the lines of the Demon Souls remake. Or I would want Dark Souls 2 to be remastered with the engine of Dark Souls 3. Because I think one of the biggest problems with Dark Souls 2, like the big problem that a lot of people have with it, is the gameplay. So I think if Dark Souls 2 had like the graphics and gameplay of Dark Souls 3, which has the best of those out of the trilogy, I feel like a lot more people would probably appreciate the game. Brown Dio has another question. He asked, what's your favorite series outside of manga and anime? I'm assuming he means, some kind of television or film series. And my favorite, the one that I always go back to every once in a while, is of course Star Wars. Yeah, it's had a lot of shit recently. But there are a lot of pieces of Star Wars media that are some of my favorite things of all time. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, I usually go on tangents about these on streams every once in a while, but like, KOTOR 2 is just so fucking good. It's my favorite Star Wars thing ever. It's one of my favorite games ever. It's like the pinnacle of Oblivion game writing for me. So, yeah, a classic. Then Neve asks a follow-up to Brown Dio's questions about an anime and manga fighting style, and asks, who would be the first person I would fight with said style? Various political figures. Not getting into any details to avoid getting arrested. Artist asks, what was your vision for the channel when you first started, and how has it changed since? Well, initially, if any of you guys watched my channel trailer, which was the first video I uploaded onto the channel and then took down at some point, my original vision for the channel was it to be something where I could do basically anything. I would do like anime and manga stuff, but I would also talk about like gaming and movies and news and politics. And then I just ended up doing anime and manga and getting kind of into doing that, and then I accumulated most of my audience from doing that. And well, here we are now, a manga channel. So that's how it turned out. Last Discord question is from Koji. He asks, what will be your next goal for 2022? Okay, very important one. My next goal overall is the original goal I had for this year that I realized a few months ago that we definitely weren't going to hit. Just based on the rate of subscriber gain, and that is hitting 5,000 subscribers. For celebrating that, I plan on doing a 24-hour long stream. That's going to be a fucking pain in the ass, considering a lot of my streams have a tendency to kind of fall apart every once in a while, but I imagine that will probably also be a ton of fun whenever we do that. And then my next goal after that, the next big goal, that one's kind of like a stepping stone goal, you know, just kind of getting a little further. The next big goal, of course, is going to be 10,000. Gotta get into 5 digits. I have no idea how long that's going to take. I would say 5,000 is more the 2022 goal. 10,000 is just kind of the next subscriber goal overall. Yeah. If you're, for some reason, watching this and haven't subscribed, you should do that so that we can get a little bit closer to reaching those goals. Next, we enter the YouTube video comments. We have a 2-part question here from Urara, who does acknowledge this is a slightly weird question. What do you think of the Lord Tensen from Jigoku Raku? I think they were fine. I didn't care much for them on the whole. Some of the individual ones were cooler than anything else. I quite liked Rien. I think Rien is a good villain, but the Tensen overall are kind of meh. Though I have seen some people that really like them, so maybe upon a full reread, which I've yet to do, I've only done a partial reread, maybe my opinion on them will change. The second part of his question is, who would you marry between Carla from Kengan Ashura, Makima from Chainsaw Man, and Hanami from Jujutsu Kaisen? I think Carla's the obvious one because she's not literally evil or has masculine physique. Sorry, Hanami, just not my type. And who would you adopt between Urara, Riko, Amanai, and Mei? I feel like Mei would be the least likely to murder me. So probably Mei. Nicola asks, do you rate Lolong? How do you rate Lolong? Personally, I think he's still S tier and on equal footing with Oma and Ryan. Clearly not on equal footing with Oma, but I'm obligated to put him up in like fucking top 7 or 8, I guess, because I have to. Autark, who is Danny on the Discord, asks, any big projects coming up in the future, things we can look forward to? I still plan on doing those Demon Souls videos. I don't think they're necessarily going to be lore videos because I don't think Demon Souls has as much lore as the other Souls games. That's at least what I've come to find out. But I still plan on doing videos on it. I figured out how to record video on the PS5, though the volume on the audio is really low. Now I need to get a mic and I need to figure out how to do, uploads from there, like good uploads. Maybe if there's a way for me to stick it in an editor or something. The issue with recording gaming stuff from my PS5 is going to be that it's at my dad's house, which is way louder than my mom's house, which is where I'm recording this video from and where I've recorded the last few videos from. Because at my dad's house, we've got our dogs, which, as you can imagine, are loud. And you got a big fucking Doberman, and you've got a yappy little French Bulldog. Then you have my dad, Big Misk, who's a loud guy. Then you have my sister, She-Misk, who's also a loud person. And those two argue quite a bit. And as you can imagine, when two loud people argue with each other, they get even fucking louder. So the background audio conditions are generally not ideal. I mean, it's not like there's noise all the time, but there's an almost constant risk of having a bunch of fucking background noise. So the videos will probably require me to cut a lot of shit out depending on when I record them. But I do plan on doing them in the future. Next question is from Todor, who asks, how do you think Rasputin will fight, against who, and will he win or not? I like to imagine Rasputin is going to have some kind of like magic tome or something, though at the rate we're going at, he's just going to try and fucking punch people. And that he's basically immortal. The fight against Rasputin is probably going to be like a war of attrition. As for who he'll fight against, I feel like the only really obvious one to have him go up against at the moment would be Anubis, since it's, the Undying Man versus the Judge of the Dead. And Rasputin is one of the human fighters where I figure he's probably going to lose. Next question is from Neve, who asks, if you had meme magic martial arts based on some wacky gimmick of your choosing, what would those martial arts be? I'm gonna be real, Chief. Being able to go limp and redirect kinetic energy is, like, so silly and so busted that, like, how could I not want something like that? Literally, the Nico style. Actually, kind of more like Showery from Baki. Justin asks, would you rather be an excellent artist or an excellent musician? I want to be an excellent artist. Some of you know that I like drawing. I've been drawing a comic for myself casually for about 2 years now. I don't think my art's anywhere near being good yet. I plan on trying to improve it somewhat in the relatively near future. But I generally find that working on like a visual media, being able to come up with an idea and put pen to paper to sort of visualize it, is really cool. I would like to be able to draw like anything that comes to my mind, while I currently don't have the skills to do that. And also, I've played music before. I was in band in 6th grade and I didn't really care for it that much. So definitely an artist. Oh god, just remembering band, I've suddenly remembered the taste and texture of the wooden reed that you use when you play a saxophone. Yeah, it's making me cringe. Why would you do this to me, Justin? The next question is from JP, who asks, who's your favorite person in the Discord? Obviously excluding people you knew from before. JP, this is like asking me to pick my favorite child. You can't do this to me. You can't just put me on the spot like that. So I'm going to find a loophole, and by that I mean I'm going to not entirely answer your question, and say probably the people that I've gotten to know the best, which for the most part is the people that I've been playing D&D with since like last February. I would consider them my group of friends, and meeting them and getting to play D&D with them has been one of the greatest benefits that come sort of unintentionally from becoming a YouTuber and then creating my Discord. Saya asked, do you think JJK will end in 2 years just like Gege said? No. Mangakas are terrible at estimating the own length of their story. Things tend to take longer to do well than mangakas think they will. Oda's been saying that One Piece is going to end in 5 years for the last 20 years. The year of Sanji lasted like 3 years. So no, I don't think it's ending in 2 years. Unless he decides to rush it, which I hope he doesn't. Cosmo asks, I noticed you're a mod on Griever's Ragnarok stream. When are you getting him on your channel for a collab? Cosmo, how many of my streams do you watch? I have Griever on all the time. We go on each other's streams all the time. If you're asking for like a video collab, like not a stream, I don't know. Griever had this idea of us doing like a co-op KOTOR 2 playthrough where one of us plays through light side and one of us plays through dark side, and you kind of see both of us going through stuff at the same time as like a split screen. I don't know if I have the hardware to do that, like record that in decent quality, but we'll see. Though we collab on streams all the time. Filthy Raptor asks, what's your top 10 manga? I'm not really sure. Giving my top 5 is easier. I'll give you the stuff that was in my top 5, but isn't anymore. And then stuff that's, kind of in my general top 10. Stuff that I read and was like, yeah, this is, like, top 5 adjacent. So Demon Slayer was one that was in my top 5. I think I listed that last year. Goes to show how things have changed. I've read quite a bit more stuff since then. I still like the series quite a bit. So somewhere in the top 10, but not the top 5. Chainsaw Man has fallen out of my top 5, not because I think it's, decreased in quality or anything, but because, well, there's only 97 chapters, and a lot of the other series that I've read have more chapters. So until part 2 starts up in the summer, it's going to be hard for such a short series to keep competing with series that just have a lot more content in them. Next would probably be Hellsing, which used to be in my top 5. That one I still think is pretty great. What else have I read? I don't know. That's why doing a top 10's hard, because it's hard to think of a list. I would have to write down, like, every series that I've read and then organize it. I think I haven't even read, like, 20 manga, so a top 10 list really doesn't mean that much, to be totally honest. I need to read quite a few more series for that to mean anything. Next question's from, I believe, the legendary Justin Y, man famous for showing up in comment sections all over YouTube. You just see the guy everywhere, so cool to know that he watches my stuff, apparently. Which of these is the worst case scenario? Gojo being added in Fortnite, Ayashimon getting axed, or Trump getting a cameo in Jujutsu Kaisen? Gojo getting added in Fortnite, I don't care. Like, I don't play Fortnite, I really don't give a shit. Trump cameo in Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't care. Like, as long as it's funny or something, I don't give a shit. So Ayashimon getting axed would be the worst case scenario. Because it seems to be a series that has quite a bit of promise. I like Kaku Yuji's art and his writing. I like the stuff Kaku Yuji does. So, that would be quite bad if Ayashimon gets axed. Playfree asks, what are your top 3 colors? Okay, so 2 definites are purple, green. Love those colors. Next one, bit of a tough decision. It's kind of a split between blue or red. If I had to choose one to wear more often, it would probably be blue, though more of like a darker blue. Ace Victory asks, how tall are you? I think I'm like 5'10". I don't know, I haven't checked in a while. I'm not quite the 6 foot tall Chad that some of you may have expected me to be based on my voice. But I'm pretty sure I'm relatively average in terms of height. Now we move on to the biggest pool of questions, the one from the community tab. Neo Rosa asks, what has been your favorite part of being a manga reviewer in 2021? Do you feel like you did the best you could, or are you unsatisfied and want to do even better in 2022? And what was your favorite series to review in 2021? So my favorite part has probably been just getting to talk to a lot more people about stuff that I'm interested in, because, I didn't really have, like, a big friend group to talk to about the stuff I was interested in, and there was always stuff that, like, I was interested in, but my friends weren't really that interested in. So it's really cool to have, like, a lot of people in the Discord and in the comment sections that I'm able to just, talk to about stuff that I like. Stuff that we have as common interests. And, I've met a lot of people that I talk to every day, people that I would consider to be friends because of doing this. So that's been pretty great. Did I feel like I did my best, or am I unsatisfied? I'm not satisfied with the channel's performance from this year. I feel like that's mostly just due to how absurd the channel did at the end of last year. If you guys remember, the channel hit like 100 subscribers about halfway through September last year, and then from like the start of October to, I want to say, around the end of January, was just fucking stupid in terms of the amount of views and the subscriber gain the channel had. Like, I had multiple videos that had like over 10,000 views. I went from having 100 subscribers to having, I think, like 1,500 by the end of the year. I gained like 500 subscribers in a week. I know, like, last February, I had mentioned in a video, or not last February, this February of this year, at the start of this year, I did a video, and at the start of the video I said, hey, some of you may be watching this and not realize that you aren't subscribed. You should do that. And I gained like 200 subscribers in 2 days. It was fucking ridiculous. And then the growth rate of the channel has decreased significantly. It's gone back down to kind of like the September through to the start of November rate, which is still decent, but it's like so much lower compared to what it was during that stretch of like 3 months that it felt like the channel had dropped off or something. And there have been a lot of times where I've wondered, like, are people just not interested in me and my content anymore? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? I've tried to do videos outside of reviews, like character discussions and stuff, or arc reviews, and they don't really get much traction. They don't really get that many views. I don't really see much of an impact on the channel analytics from it. And I know that's really not supposed to be the perspective you have when you work on something like this, but I can't help but feel that way about it. So I'm hoping that things will do a bit better in 2022. Whether that's due to some kind of change I make in the channel, or if the YouTube algorithm just decides to start treating the rest of my stuff the way it treats, what is it, my chapter 118 review? I think it's my Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 118 review, a video that's not very good, a video in which I forget shit that happens towards like the beginning of JJK, and for some reason the algorithm has just been recommending it to everyone. It's now the second most viewed video on my fucking channel, has like 25,000 views, and it's one of my worst Jujutsu Kaisen reviews. I don't know why the algorithm is doing this to me. It drives me insane every time that I see it. Hopefully we'll have some actual good videos getting that treatment this year. Next, we have Giselle, who wonders if I've read Chainsaw Man and plan on doing any videos on it. I already answered this question in the comments, but I do indeed have a playlist full of Chainsaw Man videos. I have two, actually. I'm pretty sure I have a playlist dedicated to the Chainsaw Man character discussions I did. And of course, when the manga comes back this summer, you can be expecting reviews for every chapter, just like before Part 1 ended. Next is from Brecken Feldman, who says it was awesome to watch my channel grow, and asks if I'm planning to read Hell's Paradise, if I haven't already. And I have. There was a video I released almost a year ago now. It was a rambling video talking about Hell's Paradise. You should go watch it if you haven't already. As a matter of fact, I have my second ever physical manga volume, my only other physical manga volume. It's volume 1 of Hell's Paradise. Just right here, over on my nightstand, because I plan on going through it for art references. Dolly asks, if you could change one thing in Kengan Ashura and Omega, and in Shumatsu, what would it be? And, well, he says that I'm apparently his favorite manga reviewer by far, so the fact that, apparently me, guy who, in my opinion, does not really have, like, the best videos or anything, could be someone's favorite when competing against a lot of big names that have been out there for a while. That feels pretty good. Thank you. And also, I find it hilarious a lot of time when people apologize for their English in comments, their English is like totally fine. Usually when people have shitty English, they don't acknowledge it. It's strange. I wouldn't change anything about Ashura. The things I would change about Omega, if I could change one thing, well, with the Purgatory Tournament, there would be quite a few things I would change. So I guess if there was one thing I would change, it would be keeping more focus on Koga during the tournament. Because for like the last year and a half, I'm pretty sure we've just about forgotten that Koga is supposed to be the main character. And as for Shumatsu, I want more elemental powers. I'm tired of everyone being a physical fighter. It's getting kind of stale, if you ask me. Legitimate King of Britannia congratulates me for reaching my sub goal, and then asks, who's your favorite Kengan character? Either Seki or Wakatsuki. Seki is just probably the best written character in the series, and Waka is personally very relatable. They haven't played into this as much more recently with his character, but in Ashura, and especially the earlier parts of Ashura, Waka felt very human, like him getting nervous and needing to relax before he goes into fights, even though he's as strong as he is just a very cool and humanizing thing. Righteous Judgment asks, who do you think's a better antagonist, Mahito or Shigaraki? I think Shigaraki's a better character. Shigaraki has a lot more layers and there was a lot more development with his character. But I think Mahito may be a better villain, as he says, kind of, not necessarily because of the pain he caused, but sort of his dichotomy with Yuji and the impact he has on the plot. You really hate him. You really, really want him to fucking die. He is responsible for pretty much almost every somewhat significant character death in the series. All he does whenever he shows up is cause pain and suffering, and he just makes you hate him as much as humanly possible, which is why Chapter 132 is the best video I have on the channel. It's the best video I've ever done. I've never had as much fun making a video as I did reacting to that chapter. It's absolutely great. It is the best chapter in Jujutsu Kaisen, if you ask me. Rat says, if you could pick one Shikai and one Bankai, which would you choose? And I assume this means I can pick from just completely different Zanpakutos. For my Shikai, I would probably want Senbon Zakura because it's just cool. I dig the flower aesthetics and such. You know, everybody loves Sakura blossoms. They're great. And having them as weapons is fucking cool. You can understand why, you know, one of the contributing factors to people simping for Byakuya. And for a Bankai, I would probably pick Urahara's, just because it's so useful. Like, oh, I can just reconstruct anything I touch. I can make myself stronger. I can fix something that's broken. I could do basically anything that I want with it to improve things. So, sounds pretty infinitely versatile, and I'm a big fan of that. Rat asks another question. He asks, if you could pick one Jujutsu Kaisen curse technique, which would you choose? Well, for convenience, once again, I would probably pick Reggie's technique. You could go around, like, sifting through garbage, which I would normally have a problem with. However, if I can go find a receipt for, like, a fucking BMW or something, or fucking, I don't know, literally any expensive shit, you could just go around, just follow people as they walk out of the store, and just wait to see if they throw out their receipts or something. Does that not sound... That sounds kind of creepy. But, like, you get shit for free. You can just make shit for free. That sounds great. Urara asks the same question that they asked on the community post, and I already answered that. They're okay. Rien leaks better than pretty much any of them. Zuri asks, who pulls more, Muteba from Kengan or Raiden from Record of Ragnarok? We only see Raiden getting a lot of big sexo one time, whereas basically every time Muteba shows up, it turns into an ecchi manga. So I would say definitely Muteba. Neva asked, do you know who took Okoya's Ripper and why they won't give it back? It was confiscated by the Department of Homeland Security. Mysterious Figure asks, what manga or anime do you think is overrated and underrated? Overrated? I don't know if I've read enough to sort of say what's overrated. I mean, that's a tough one. I'm gonna get some trouble here. I would say My Hero is slightly overrated. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people say it is. I think there are a lot of people who just kind of ignore the problems with it. For a series that's underrated, I think there are actually a few. I think Fire Force is kind of underrated. Fire Force definitely has quite a few low points. There's quite a few sections of Fire Force that are nothing to write home about. But I can say with like resounding confidence that Fire Force also has one of the best manga fights I've ever read that just came out over the course of this year. Like almost just that fight alone is worth picking up the manga in my mind. I think Black Clover usually is underrated. A lot of the shit with the recent arc has been pretty trash. There's been a lot of shit in the current arc, but a lot of the stuff that's just been happening in the last 2 chapters has been great. Has been absolutely fantastic. And Black Clover is pretty good in various parts of it. I'd say it's pretty good overall, and that a lot of people kind of sell it short because of the anime. And for the last one, I would say Demon Slayer, which you're all going to be like, what? The most fucking profitable manga of all time? What are you talking about? I'm talking about people that are like hardcore anime and manga fans that are like, Demon Slayer's carried by animation, it's really not that good. And while it's not the best, I think a lot of people kind of sell short the quality of the writing and the characters in Demon Slayer. I would say that the characters and a lot of the writing, although the story is pretty basic and not the most original thing ever, is really good. Demon Slayer has a lot of really good stuff in it. And I think a lot of people don't acknowledge that because they want to be contrarians and be like, actually, popular thing is not that good. Rad asks, who's your favorite protagonist and antagonist? I think Denji's my favorite protagonist just because I find him to be the most relatable. I mean, really, when he's a horny 16-year-old whose motivation is wanting to feel some tits, get a girlfriend, and get laid. How can you not relate to that? Like, seriously. A lot of other protagonists have very big goals for achieving big stuff. Listen, man, a lot of us just kind of want the finer things in life. So, I appreciate that on a personal level. As for antagonist, I would say Meruem in terms of his writing. You know, it's not a very original answer. A lot of people say Meruem is the best, but I'm inclined to agree with those people. Skinny Platinum asks, what if Oma lost? I would not be as disappointed with the fight, and I think a lot of other people would be in the same camp. Quivante asks, who do you like more, Edward Wu or Tiger Nico? I find Eddie to be far more funny and entertaining. He's just way more amusing. Jay asks, what's your favorite type of sandwich? That would be an Italian sub made in the Boar's Head Deli that you can find in most public stores down here in Florida. Not really much tops it. The only thing that really comes close is, well, you know, Publix chicken tender subs. They're both great. Mysterious Figure asks, any upcoming movie you're excited about? I'm not that interested in a lot of movies that have been coming out lately. So the only movie I really gave much of a shit about this year was No Way Home, and it's going to be another Marvel movie for next year, and that would be the new Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Seems like we're going to get into some pretty crazy, wild shit there. So I'm hoping that the movie will be not bad. Ashik asks, limitless curse technique without the 6 eyes or blood manipulation, not a curse womb or death painting. And also, what's your name? Okay, so for the first one, blood manipulation or limitless, I don't like being injured, so I wouldn't like having to give up blood all the time, so probably limitless. Also, and even as much cursed energy as it uses up, as long as I'm able to learn reverse curse technique and generally try not to fight people too much, I should be fine. As for what's my name, well, if any of you guys watched my first ever video before I took it down, it has my name in there. That's the reason I took it down, was because I stated my name in there. I said, hello, my name is my name. I prefer being called that because I think being called a pseudonym like Misk or something would be weird. So here I am now, where almost none of you know my real name, and everyone just calls me Misk all the time. Funny how things change in a year and a half. JPEG Omar asks me to rate One Piece out of 10. I'd say it's like a 9.5. Very good series, a great series, but it does have some stretches. it does have some parts where I'm just kind of like... Also, Oda's allergic to character death. That's like my one big gripe with the series. The one thing that I just cannot stand is Oda writing character death scenes and then just not killing the characters. Never gonna get over that. Mysterious Figure asks Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen, and then he asks me my top 5 manga. Okay, this is the far easier list to do. This is not in any specific order because all of the series have different things that I like more than the other ones. Jujutsu Kaisen, you guys already know. The series that I read this year and absolutely fucking adored, just had the best time ever reading it. Toriko. You should all go out and read Toriko. Don't touch the anime, it's an abomination. Read Toriko. Peak hype. Hype is ruined for me because of Toriko. Nothing else fucking touches Toriko in terms of sheer hype. Just Kino. Peak fiction in terms of hype. Record of Ragnarok, fairly frequent, solid position in my top 5. Kengan Ashura, fucking excellent. Can't wait for Griever to start reading it soon. And then to round out the top 5, Hell's Paradise. I had actually kind of moved it out of my top 5 for a bit, but then like 3 people on the server all started reading it again at the same time. Neo, Bob, and Neve. So I was pretty much rereading the series vicariously through 3 different people, and I was reminded, damn, this series is even better than I remember. It's still in my top 5. So yeah, there's my top 5 for you. Much easier than doing a top 10 when I haven't read a bunch of stuff. Todor asks, could you wish me a happy birthday? Well, this is kind of belated now because the message is from more than a day ago, but happy birthday! And then my last question is from Killer Pumpkin 439. He asks, how old are you? I see you haven't really been keeping up with the channel or anything because, like, a week and a half ago I did a stream called Misk's 19th birthday celebration. So I'm 19. There you go. I'm pretty sure this Q&A video was like at least 10 minutes longer than the last one, so seems like we got quite a few more questions this year. Well, that's all for the Q&A. Thank you all for participating. I greatly enjoy answering your questions, and having a bunch of people who are there to ask me questions, you know, having some kind of interest in getting answers from me is one of the reasons that I love doing this stuff and have no intention of quitting anytime soon. So, I guess we gotta start chugging along to our next goal, 5,000 subscribers. I really want to do that 24-hour stream. It's gonna be agonizing. I'm gonna be asleep for, you know, at least 6 hours of it. But my god, I can just imagine what an amazing shit show that's gonna be. So, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to subscribe so we can get a little bit closer to that goal. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Until next time, take care.